Okay, we are going to jump right into it and we're going to start on time as promised. And thank you so much for everybody for joining me today. Um, and what we are going to be talking about today is some bridge financing. So, welcome to the bridge to your next home, where today we're going to break down some strategies, just going over ways that you can help your clients transition from their current home and then into their next home smoothly. Okay, so my name is Michael Cadet, and I'm going to be walking you through some of these strategies today so you can walk away today with a solid game plan to go back and talk with your clients to help create more inventory, essentially. Okay, so let's jump right into it. So today we're going to be talking about bridge financing, but what we're really talking about is ways that we can create more inventory in a marketplace that right now is seeing where 67% of homeowners right now are having an interest rate with a two in front of it or a three in front of it, and then another 22% with about a four in front of it. So when you find yourself in this type of a market, how do we create more inventory in this situation? And this is where bridge financing comes into play. Okay, so this is a tool. Really, it should be really looked at more of a tool, for agents to be able to create more inventory. All right, and so let me just quickly explain, what I guess, bridge financing or private money is. And so if anyone out there has heard of bridge financing, typically what people think of is hard money, right? When they think of bridge financing, is they think about hard money or private money. Okay. And essentially hard money, private money, pretty much the same thing. Okay, no real difference in between the two. Names are interchangeable. And essentially, what these two types of strategies are doing, they're really doing is just going to an individual like myself, and like myself, or just coming to me and saying, "Hey, I would like to borrow, X amount of dollars on this house so I can purchase my new property." Okay, and all a private or hard money lender is looking for when they're qualifying for somebody is they're looking at the collateral of the home. So essentially, they're just really looking at the equity in that home to qualify that person. So they're not going to be looking to qualify that person using traditional income means. Okay. So what most people don't understand, realtors and lenders included, is that you can do bridge financing way cheaper, for most clients, that is, okay, without actually having to use private or hard money financing. Because private or hard money financing, as you're going to see throughout this presentation, that's going to be the most expensive way to accomplish a bridge financing is going about it through private money. Okay. And what we're going to discover and talk about today is that there's multiple ways to achieve bridge financing without having to use private money. Okay. So, you know, the so essentially today, what you're going to walk away with is multiple ways that you can show your clients on how to transition from their existing home and then into their next home. Okay. And just being able to have these conversations with your clients is really going to help you, unlock some more inventory, honestly, and help them just, get off the fence and make that transition. Okay. Um, so today we're going to talk about a few different ways, like I said, and really what we're going to be, I guess, covering is the concern of home sellers. And right now, like the a main concern of a home seller is finding that replacement property. For people who are either looking to, move up or move down, finding that replacement property is pretty much the main concern. And this is the gist of the bridge loan strategy, is that we can probably create 10 more percent of inventory just by having these conversations and helping people navigate either moving up or moving down. Okay. So, real quickly before I jump into the content, there was a survey that was done that I can pull up at some other point and send to you. But there was a survey that was done on individuals who was 55 and over, and they were surveyed to find out like what was their main concern with moving. And their number one concern was that they don't want to sell their house without having a place to go, was their main concern. And so that concern is stopping people from wanting to list their property. And because they're just worried if they list their home, they won't have a place to live or be able to buy, or they may not have the means to buy first, before listing. So this is where the bridge financing strategies comes into play. And again, just arming yourself with this conversation will just allow you to have more conversations, more creative conversations with your clients, and helping them game plan that transition from either moving up or moving down. Okay, so let's just go into the first strategy as to helping people bridge from either selling their property and getting into the new property without using private money. Okay, so the traditional way to do it is really just by qualifying, for two loans. So this is for someone who may already have the down payment, and that borrower has the income in order to qualify for two mortgage payments. Okay, so really easy. So if that buyer has, let's say, 5%, 10%, 20%, whatever money that they have in order to just qualify and get into the property, um, then they'll be able to qualify just like that. So we'll be able to essentially qualify them using just regular Fannie Mae and conventional guidelines, as long as they're able to qualify from a traditional income standpoint for both monthly payments and they have the down payment. Okay. We can close this real quickly. You can close this within about 10 to 14 days, just like any other conventional loan. And then the strategy with this strategy is once they sell the property, and we qualify them up front, with both mortgage payments, the strategy after they sell is to do a recast. Okay, so maybe not a lot of people may know of what a recast is, and a lot of lenders may not talk about it because it doesn't earn them another refinance. But essentially, the strategy you can use in this case is that, like I said, qualifying for the new property just using conventional financing, using 5%, 10%, whatever, the minimum down that you need, or however much cash that you have to qualify. You qualify to get into the house as long as you can qualify carrying both mortgage payments on your departing residence and the new one, and you have the down payment, then you can buy the new house without using private money. Okay. And then once you sell the property, you're going to take the sale proceeds and then do a recast. Essentially, just take those sale proceeds and pay down the loan balance, which will reduce your monthly payment without having to do a refinance. Okay, so that would be the first strategy, the first way in order to do bridge financing without having to do private money. Okay, so there's no extra cost or anything like that, no, or essentially premium to do this strategy. It's really just based off of if that person can qualify carrying, both mortgages and has some cash in order to put down. Okay. Um, Now I saw a few people join. Any questions? Feel free to drop it in the chat if you have any questions or anything like that. I want to stop in between each strategy just to answer any questions that you may have. But any questions on that particular strategy? And if you're muted, I can't mute, but I'm going to continue on if you do have any strategy or questions, and just let me know. All right. Okay, so again, just quickly to recap, I know a few more people just logged in. So just to quickly recap, the first way in order to uh, do a bridge loan without doing bridge financing or private money, which is the most expensive way to do it, is just a traditional way, just a regular conventional way by carrying both your departing mortgage and the new mortgage. And as long as that person has at least between 3 to 5% or some cash to put down on the new property, then they can qualify and get into the property. And then once you sell that property, then you would take those sell proceeds and do what's called a recast, and then just pay down that loan balance, and then that would reduce the total monthly payment instead of having to do a refinance. Okay. And so you're allowed to do a recast once um, every year for the life of the loan. Okay. Um, Now, the traditional way, like I was kind of mentioning, is just done through Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, VA, all your regular conventional government entity loans. Um, Again, like I was mentioning, this is going to be for someone who does have the income to be able to support both mortgage payments. So it's not for everybody. And that's why I was saying in the beginning that there is multiple ways for most people to be able to achieve bridge financing without doing private money. But for folks who do have the income to support both mortgage payments, this would be the strategy. Um, that would work. Keeping it as a rental will be a little tricky just because the way we have to offset the debt by getting a lease agreement, and then we're only going to give you about 75% of whatever that lease agreement would say. So that would be a little bit tricky. But again, just a straightforward type of strategy. If the person has the income and the down payment, and can qualify for both loans, then that would be the first way to do it. And then also, no premium. This is the lowest rate or option for the bridge financing strategy. Okay. So now for let's see here. Yeah. So for the next one, this is the next strategy is essentially a portfolio product that CrossCountry Mortgage does. Okay, and it's our CCM buy before you sell product, and this is where a client does not qualify for both payments. So, like in the first example where I was explaining that the person does qualify for both payments. This is an example of where someone would not qualify for both payments. This is for someone who's planning to sell, um, their property, obviously immediately. And this product obviously can be underwritten prior to you guys, going out there and to sell and to get into your new contract. Um, so the CCM, buy before you sell. All you really need in order to qualify for this product is really just a letter stating that the property is listed, and then you need about 12 months of reserve. But as long as the property is listed, or you have a letter stating the property is listed, then CCM can exclude the departing monthly payment on your departing residence. Okay, so they can exclude the monthly payment on your departing residence as long as we get a letter stating that the property is going to be sold. Okay, really easy to qualify for as long as the person has some cash in order to put for the down payment. Then this is a way that you can qualify without doing private money, essentially. And again, so as we go through like each strategy, the first one just being able to qualify just uh, without the use of any other type of financing program. This is a portfolio product. As we go through each strategy, they get a little bit more expensive, right? Because the more, let's say, creative you have to get, more of a premium starts to get tacked on. All right. So the first strategy, traditionally, regular pricing for that. For the CCM product, I mean, I would just it would be easy just to say to maybe bump up the interest rate about like by 1 point, and then about like 2 extra points on cost and everything like that. Okay. But really easy to qualify for. And again, another way for you to qualify for bridge financing to get you into the home without using private money. Okay. Any questions on the CCM product or the first strategy at all, or recast or anything like that? Okay. All right. So the third way to do a bridge loan without doing any private money is a home equity line. Okay, so we do home equity lines. We can do home equity lines up to $500,000, up to 90%, and we can close within 30 days. So this is for someone who doesn't have the down payment. They don't have the ability to get a gift from a friend or family member. This is where we can essentially just take the equity literally from their house and use it as their down payment for the new property. Okay. And then we can also exclude the monthly payment that would be, that would show up, on that new home equity line of credit. Okay. So this is a way that, again, you can access the equity before you're selling it, use the down payment. The monthly payment on the equity line of credit will be excluded when we run to do your, purchasing qualifications, and then we'll help you get into that new property without using bridge financing. Okay. Now, if you're going to go with this strategy, with the home equity line of credit strategy, it's always important to plan ahead because unlike the other strategies, like just with conventional financing, we can close those transactions, within 10, 14 days. With the home equity line of credit, those typically take between about 25 to 30 days would be the safe bet to get someone all processed and through a home equity line of credit. So again, like with any of these strategies, it's just important to connect with the lender, connect with myself, and we can game plan and make sure that we have, the appropriate timelines so you're, writing your contracts appropriately. Okay, the way I like to tell my clients when they're exploring this option, it's just like we're selling you your own house. We're just pretty much advancing the equity out of your house, before you sell. Okay, but most importantly, very, very important to plan in advance, just so we have everything, planned out. Any questions with the home equity line of credit strategy? Okay. All right. So this one is the fourth option I'm going to show is this one's a little bit tricky because it just doesn't show up a lot, but it is something nonetheless that we still can do. But this is in an instance we have and this is just a regular Freddie Mae, or excuse me, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac guideline. Okay, so just regular conventional, Fannie and Freddie guidelines is that there's a way that we don't have to hit the borrowers with their departing residence monthly payments. So we don't have to hit their monthly payment on their departing residence, as long as we have an offer from a buyer and they have released all of their loan contingencies. So again, it's a little bit tricky. It doesn't come up often, but again, it's just another, excuse me, just another additional way that you can use bridge financing in order to get into your new house. But it's just a regular guideline that's in Fannie and Freddie. If they have you have an offer and the contingencies have been released, then we can remove the debt service on that departing residence. Another way to do it, just kind of on a side note, is let's say like you're looking to buy a home and in this scenario, um you can use like a lease agreement, right, to help offset the mortgage payment. Right. So like, if I'm sure you've heard of that before, that you've heard lenders say, all I need is a lease agreement. It really doesn't even, need to be executed, but you just need to show a lease agreement showing, what that payment is, and then they're going to give you 75% of that lease agreement. So that can help offset some of that departing resident's monthly payment and help you get qualified for that next property. Okay. So any questions regarding that?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
So on the lease payment,
Mhm.
so they will give you 75%. Is that the annual lease? Is that 75% of the annual lease?
Great question. So that's going to be 75% of, yes, the annual lease payments, and they'll just break it down into, in a monthly number.
And then say okay, so this is the scenario. The buyer, I have a client. This
Mhm.
is a scenario. I don't have a client. I have a client and she's looking to purchase a property and she wants to sell her property at the same time,
Mhm.
right? A list her property. So we put her property on the market and then she gets a lease agreement. And then the lease agreement is for 3,000 a month. So that's going to be 36,000 a year. So 75% of that 36,000 she can use as a down payment on that new property she's buying.
So
Is that correct?
no,
Or no?
so the way that Fannie or Freddie will look in this scenario would be so that 36,000 you said 36,000 in annual payments,
Yeah, I think I
uh,
said that.
rent
Let me do the
payment.
math. I might be wrong.
So no, so that's fine. So let's just use $36,000. So that would be $27,000 that the bank will use towards their monthly income from a because they're qualifying based
Okay,
on
so that just helps them qualify.
correct from an income
Okay,
standpoint. Yeah.
okay.
Right. And so if someone, so in this case, because in order to qualify for that new property, what's just, kind of hurting people is that you have that monthly payment that's still showing up, impacting your debt to income ratio. So the way to lower that or to mitigate that is either maybe another way which I was just showing was that if you were to show a lease payment that could reduce that obligation by 75% and help you qualify for that new payment.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Um, So that was the fourth, yeah, I think that was the fourth way. Yeah. So we went over traditionally, just qualifying by qualifying for your existing mortgage payment and then qualifying for the other, purchasing mortgage payment, and you have the cash and you have the down payment. We went over a portfolio product to where, we can help you essentially access the equity in your home, qualify for the new property using an equity home line of credit. And I'm going to bring to you now private money because we do private money as well. And this is the fourth way, the most expensive way to do bridge financing, which is private money. Okay, so this is where the person does not have the down payment, and the person does not qualify for both loans. All right, so and we can close these in about 17 days. For these ones, for the private monies that we do, we typically don't need appraisal contingency, although the lender, they're going to require an appraisal or at bare minimum a BPO, a broker's price opinion. Um, and then they're only going to need about 1 month of bank statements, and then they just need an exit strategy. And so essentially, what the private money folks are really looking for, the collateral and the exit strategy. And it's a cross-collateralized type of a loan. So next I'll show you. So they need about 65 to 70% of combined equity. Rates are typically about 10%. And like I mentioned, they do a cross-collateralization of the loan. Okay, so I'll show you a few examples of how that work or what that would look like. I don't know if you can, hopefully you can see that. But in this example, I'm showing this is actually someone I'm dealing with right now, actually. This is an example of someone who is looking to purchase a $750,000 home. Their departing residence, the house that they're about to sell, is valued currently at 635,000. This is what the realtor believes that they can sell the home for. This person only has outstanding balances on the on their mortgage for about $120,000. So, like I mentioned, the maximum loan amount that the private money can lend is 65%, in some cases up to 70%, 70%. But just for this example, we'll use 65%. So combined or cross collateralization, they're just going to take the combination of both values minus any outstanding balances and then lend 65% on that value. Okay, so in this case, the total property values between the two properties is at 1.385 million. So in this case, we can lend on the whole purchase for their new purchase. This particular family, um, it's a family of about four, and they live in a 1,200 square foot home, and they just wanted a bigger home. Okay, so example of someone who just needs to move up, and so this is in this scenario, they're able to purchase the new home 100%. Only thing that they will need to come out of pocket with is just the closing cost and the points. They charge about 2.5 points for this. And then after they sell the property, the departing residents, the remaining balance the loan balance after the sale of the property is going to be at 273,100 bucks. Okay. And then we would typically have that all set up for them ready to go, once they get into that new property. Now the typically like the pushback I get and when I present this type of strategy, obviously, is that monthly payment. Okay, so the monthly payment would be at $6,243. It's just an interest only payment. And this is where, obviously a conversation that you would have with your client to urge them to hurry, get the property listed, and to have a great strategy to get the property listed and sold before you have to make a monthly payment, because the first monthly payment isn't due until 45 days after you close on that new purchase. Okay. So essentially you could help your client, help them get into the property, hurry, sell that property, and, get all the proceeds, pay off the loan, refinance without them even having to make an interest payment on the bridge loan. All right, so that's one example. Here's kind of another example I recently had to deal with. This is a person who was looking to purchase, essentially another person looking to move up, but they had a bigger loan balance existing on the departed residence. The new property that they're looking to buy was at 1.75 million. The property that they're selling was at 1.2, and they had about $375,000 worth of outstanding loans on the property. All right, so total value between the two is at 2,950, 2,950,000, and then so the max loan amount in this scenario will be able to lend about 1.4, excuse me, 1.542 million on this property. Okay, so in this scenario, they are going to come out of pocket with some down payment cash because the total amount that we're able to lend on this is 65% of the combined value of the properties minus any outstanding debt balances. And so in this case and scenario, they'll have to come out of pocket about 247,552 will be their down payment plus some closing cost. And after they sell the property, the outstanding balance of that of their new loan will be about 789,000. And again, try to get that property sold as fast as possible so they can avoid having that monthly interest payment. All right. Questions about that at all?
I have a question.
Yes.
So would you say that if you have to deal with a strategy like this,
Mhm.
would you say that the best estimate to give regarding the property that you have to sell may be a little bit lower than market value
Yeah.
because you are dealing with a time, um, you're dealing with the amount of time that it's going to take you to sell it, and you need to sell it pretty fast.
Right, correct. I typically show numbers that are conservative. I'm always looking at the conservative lower of the two. And like in that first scenario, this one right here at 635, they were planning on selling their property, but the realtor believed that they can actually sell it for I think like 660, and but that was at the bottom of the range, and so I wanted to show them essentially the bottom of the range just to be a little bit more conservative. So if we did sell it for higher, then that'll just be more of a gift and a surprise. But yeah, but I would try to budget it conservatively just so yeah, if there's any hiccups or anything like that, then we can account for that. All right. And then um and then I wanted to show one last strategy, one last example of our bridge loan, which is a way, this is essentially for someone who's looking to move down. Okay, so is this the right one? Yeah, yeah. So this is someone who's looking to move down. So the new property that they're looking to purchase in this scenario is $650,000. I'm just assuming it's like a nice fancy condo somewhere in the Bay Area or something like that. So $650,000, they're selling their single family home now at, it's worth 1.65 million, and they have about 450,000 in outstanding loan balances on the loan. So in this scenario, we can easily be able to loan them for the full purchase amount of the 650,000. And then once they sell the property, they're not going to really owe anything. They'll be able to just walk away with the net proceeds of about a million, about a million, 1.1 million after it. And hopefully they can avoid that monthly interest payment of 5,400. But that is it. So today we went over a few different strategies on how to essentially achieve a bridge loan strategy without using private money. But if you need to, that option is still available. But the main point that I wanted to get across is that there is other ways to help people get into a home and do bridge financing without private money. And it's just worth having that conversation up front, and then we can just explore all these options and see which bucket they can really fit in. All right. But any questions or anything else that you guys have questions about? So question from Kaylee was, how long do you have to sell the home before the interest kicks in? Great question. So the on the new purchase, on the new purchase of the that new purchase that you're purchasing on the new home, so you have 45 days after closing until that first interest payment kicks in. Okay, so for like that first example. This first example that I was showing, this scenario, I'm literally in this scenario right now. I'm dealing with this person, and they need to fix up their house a little bit, and the property that they're trying to buy for 750,000. They've been on the market for a long time, and so the sellers are very flexible. But the sellers are very flexible, but our buyers need to get their property all fixed up, and they're not going to be able to fix it up until like another like 20 or 25 days or so. So I just told the agent, hey, just maybe extend the escrow because the first monthly payment on that new payment isn't going to be until 45 days after. So maybe extend it to where you guys open or start escrow, or just time it to where essentially you can get your rehab and construction and stuff done for your departing residents, and then you can close everything on time and get it on the market and have enough time to sell it and market it before that first payment is due. But essentially 45 days after the close of escrow on the new property. Absolutely. But again, this is, I didn't want to take up too much of your time today. Just wanted to get this information out to you, just to explain that there's, I just really want to emphasize that there's multiple ways to do bridge financing without using private money. It's just worth just having that conversation. And that's really the key thing about it is the worst thing that you want to do is get into escrow and then start exploring these strategies because it just adds unnecessary stress to everyone. And there's this very smooth way that we can accomplish this. But next month, I'm still hunting down my guest speaker, and next month we're going to be talking about ways for some of our clients to downsize. And so I'm going to be bringing in a reverse mortgage specialist to talk about strategies on to helping your clients to downsize. And a quick question from Vasil was, what is the minimum credit score for the Oh, is the credit score analyzed? No, not really. So the credit score for the bridge loans are not really analyzed. For the bridge loans, essentially, they're really the main thing they're looking for is the collateral. They want and the collateral and their exit strategy. That is really the main thing that they're looking for. They'll look at the credit. I mean, they want to see at least a bare minimum of, maybe a 620. But I mean, I've had people come in with below 620, and as long as they have other mitigating factors, like they have the down payment and they have a clear exit strategy, they're not really analyzing and digging deep into the credit. They're really leaning more on us, the lender, to kind of guide them as to what that exit strategy is. So if they're going to give a bridge loan, okay, if I give you this money, do you have a refinance setup, or do they have some cash to pay this off? They just want to know that they're going to get their money, out, within X amount of days. Even though, and one more thing, it is a 12-month term. So the loan is a 12-month term, and I wouldn't want to keep anybody in that loan. I mean, I wouldn't want to keep anyone in that loan past 30, 45 days if possible. If we can help avoid you making a monthly payment, then, more the merrier. But yeah, it's a 12-month term, and this really gives an incentive to people to list their property and list it fast because of that looming monthly payment. All right. But I will send everyone a copy of this recording. This session got recorded today, so I'll send everyone some like a recap and a recording of this, and I'll send everyone an invitation to next month's Power Hour where we're going to just talk about some downsizing strategies, and I'll have a reverse mortgage specialist on here just to explain some strategies regarding that. Okay. But I really appreciate y'all coming on in and joining me today for this session. If you don't have any other questions, I'll see you next month. And again, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm very honored to be able to present in front of you. And until next month, you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful week. And if you have any scenarios, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm more than happy and honored to help. All right, y'all take care. Peace.